Hello again everyone, this is Meiichi Natsu. In today's video, I would love to share my working holiday experience with you guys. Well, unlike the typical success stories, mine took an unexpected turn. I have done working holiday twice in my life. I just said twice though, it actually doesn't mean that I have done working holiday in multiple countries like Australia and Canada, Australia and New Zealand. No, it also doesn't mean that I've got the second working holiday visa, so I was allowed to stay in Australia for a little longer. No. Before you get the wrong idea, let me make it clear. So I had the opportunity to do a working holiday in Australia ages ago. However, what happened was just after 4 months, I decided to go back to Japan. It was not a holiday, it was meant to be a permanent return. In short, I gave up on my working holiday and returned home only in 4 months. So it was such a major failure, to be honest. But I gave it another shot and apparently it worked out. So that's why I'm still in Australia. Anyway, I just want to explain why I decided to give up on my working holiday. And I just want to share the reasons behind my decision today. Whether you're considering a working holiday or studying abroad, or even like starting a new life overseas, I just hope my story gives you some sort of insight and inspo as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, leave it down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Alright, let's get right into it. First of all, the reason I initially thought of doing a working holiday was purely because I wanted to improve my English skills. I had been studying English very hard back in Japan. I used to talk to my imaginary friend in English and all that, right? But I didn't really have opportunities to actually practice it. I mean, to have a real conversation with someone. So watching movies with subtitles and listening to podcasts and music and all that, it was not enough for me. I just wanted to up my English game in real life, right? So I just wanted to challenge my English and be more confident in speaking English. So I just decided to move to an English-speaking country. Honestly, studying abroad was not in my option because I didn't want to stress out my parents about money anymore. I left uni back in Japan and I wasted a lot of money. So I was like, oh, I can't do the same. I can't do study for now. So working holiday felt like the best option for me because basically you are allowed to do anything for 1 year, right? If you want to study, go for it. If you want to work, do that. I mean, make some money and bring it back home. Even though there's some restrictions out there, but still you can save a lot of money, which actually a lot of people do here. If you want to do sightseeing, sure, why not? So I decided to fly to Sydney. As you might already know, Sydney. It's such a gorgeous city. I grew up in a little peninsula, so I just wanted to be around the coastal area. When I think about it now, it's funny because I hate sunburn. I never ever expose my skin to the sun, but I just like the idea of being around the beach because that's how I grew up, right? So I just want to be near the beach, but I just don't want to go there and swim or something because I get tan. I hate it. I can't do that. So I don't know, it's some sort of contradiction, but I like the beach. I like the sea. I like the ocean. I like fish. Anyway, it was actually like a dream came true kind of moment as well because I was into English and I wanted to challenge my English. I was pretty excited about it. But in hindsight, adjusting to 100% English environment, it would be overwhelming at the beginning. Also, there were some surprises waiting for me in Sydney. So I did homestay. I stayed in one house with a family. But anyway, so I discovered that my host family were Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it in YouTube video. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna explain. So I didn't know about it at all, but they were Jehovah's Witnesses, which meant we didn't celebrate a Christmas or even a birthday. So I arrived in Sydney in December, so I was kind of excited about having a Christmas party, you know, in like a movie or something. They have a big meal and exchange present and that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, that should be fun. But actually, my host family, they didn't celebrate it. They are not allowed to exchange any presents as well. But while I was preparing for the flight to Australia, I heard that it's a good idea to bring some gifts from Japan to your host family. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get something. So I just went to Daiso and I've got some chopsticks. So typical. So I bought like 3 pairs of chopsticks. I mean, $3, so I can afford it, right? I actually got another present as well. So I've got photo frame, which I decorated with the shells that I found near my house. I mean, near the beach. So sweet. So I gave the present to them and they received them and they said thank you, but I never ever saw them using the chopsticks at all. I mean, it's okay because they're not my stuff anymore. It's up to them, but it was a bit sad. At least I hope they took it to Savers or something so other people can use it. Anyhow, everything was an experience. I kind of enjoyed it, so it was all good. So now after that, the language school started, and I was actually excited about it because, again, I enjoy learning English, right? I might have talked about it in my older video though. Just a little bit. I encountered some difficulties during the school days. So even though I had devoted a lot of time to studying English, what I was focusing was only grammar and vocabulary, that sort of stuff. So I hadn't really had much practice with actual conversations. So in school, I found it difficult to have just simple chats with my classmates or understand what the teacher was talking about. It was quite annoying because I had been confident in my English skills, right? So I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought my English was great, but apparently it's not that good. What the heck is going on? So the language school was actually hard and I started getting a bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say depressed, but I started getting a bit sad. I've got some good memories though. I made some friends. They were all lovely. We are still connected on social media, which is very nice. And they were sort of like my emotional support because we are in Australia as a foreigner, as an international, and sometimes we get, some sort of struggles, right? Especially what they were working on, for example, build a career here or try to get a citizenship here and start a new life. It has been just my inspiration and also motivation as well. So I'm so grateful for that. It was good. It was the plus side, but the school was too tough for me. So since I started the language school, I gradually began to lose confidence in myself. And then actually it wasn't only within the school as well. I struggled to understand the train announcements at the station. What they talk about is always like, there's a delay or you have to change the train at here, something like that. I couldn't understand anything. It was frustrating. Or even something as simple as asking about a product in a store. I know what I want to say in Japanese, but I couldn't say it in English. And also I felt shy as well. I was like, what if what I say is not going to make sense? So I felt like, I can't do anything in this country. That's what I was feeling back then. I also started getting lonely as well. I guess loneliness is something like you can get no matter where you move. Like it could happen in Tokyo, it could happen in any big city, or even like in your hometown as well. But when it's in a foreign country, it's a little different. It's a different game, isn't it? It can feel even more overwhelming, I guess. In my case, I couldn't speak English fluently, and the challenges of making friends from scratch, the constant stress from daily life at the shop or at the station, something like that, all those small things just piled up. Gradually, it made me kind of feel sad. Here comes the most important, or rather the message that I really want to share with you guys. I guess I was struggling with the language barriers and also the small stress of everyday life. Also, I struggle with the gap between the idealized image of living abroad and the reality of my daily life. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are watching this video from Japan, and I want to ask you something. What's the image do you have of living abroad? Is it like people having a brunch at a nice cafe? Or is it like people are chilling on the beach or being in an international marriage and they live in a massive house with a huge fridge and table and everything? I want to ask you another question. Don't you think that sort of image is always too fancy? And I guess at least what we see on social media is always like this. Put working holiday or even like living abroad on social media search, just Instagram one. I think what you will see will be always like this. People go to a fancy cafe and restaurant, they have a picnic on the grass, and they go to a shopping center and they have some fancy cosmetics that we can't even buy in Japan. The reality is nobody posts a picture of someone eating 3 minutes noodle out of its container with hashtag living abroad, life in Australia, life in Canada. Nobody does that. So what they post instead is the photos of them at the beach, at the shopping center, at the cafe, and at the fancy restaurant. Actually, a lot of people think like living abroad means that they can have a glamorous lifestyle. But unfortunately, it's not always the the case. I guess the misconception comes from social media and TV shows and also movies as well. So I'm not saying that living abroad is not stylish. What I'm saying is there is often an excessive belief, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people expect that if they move to an English-speaking country or even like a European country, their life will be much better, much fancier, or much more fun. It's not a lie, but you have to remember that it's totally up to you. You have to be aware that those lovely moments, they are just the highlights of people's lives. In my case, yes, I go to CBD often because I want to do shopping and I want to go to the library and all that. I go out with my partner sometimes, but still I have to go to work, which is not necessarily something like I want to do with my life. And I've got videos to edit, and also I have to clean the house, I have to do shopping, and I have to brush the toilet. It's not like I've got the only fancy and photogenic moment all the time, 24/7 in Australia. I guess a lot of people just get tired of living abroad because of the language barriers and also loneliness. And also once you step out of Japan, we're going to be a minority. There should be some sort of struggles. But there's another thing that I found tough. That is having unrealistic image of living abroad. Then reality hits and you get disappointed. You get confused. You're like, what the heck is going on? Why do I look so miserable? But honestly, nothing is wrong with you. You're just comparing yourself to other people. Living abroad can be tough, I mean, no doubt about it. But comparing yourself to others, especially those who seem to have the perfect life on social media, is not healthy. It doesn't do anything. If I could give advice to me, 21-year-old me, I would say, hey, don't compare yourself to others, especially on social media. Just make some goals, make some objectives, and just keep moving forward. You have to remember that living abroad is still a life. You clean, you shop, and you work or study. Of course, there's some enjoyable moments like, going to a cafe or something like that. But honestly, just a small part of it. Instead, what you gotta do is take your journey abroad as an opportunity to pursue your goals. Just take the time to consider your goals and move forward to achieve them. Just make sure not to make the same mistakes I did. You have to remember that what we share on social media, because I make videos, for YouTube. So I know how social media works. So what we provide is not necessarily everything about living abroad. You have to remember that. And also you have to remind yourself, okay, why you have to move overseas, why you want to do working holiday, why you want to study abroad. I'm pretty sure that's not because you want to post some photos on social media and you want to brag about it. No, right? Remember, living abroad is just a life as well. And there are a lot of struggles. And it's totally up to you how you handle with it. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I didn't mean to advertise my book in my video, but actually I wrote one book. It's sort of like a guidebook for working holiday or living in Australia. I published it for Amazon. I put the detail in my profile, not in the video description. So if you're interested, check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments, leave it down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you're more than welcome to as well. All right. Hopefully, I can see you in the next video soon. See you guys.